Most of the passive income advice on the internet is actively dangerous. You click on a video promising freedom, and 10 minutes later, you are being sold a course on dropshipping or starting a marketing agency.
Let's be very clear right now. Those are not passive income sources.
Those are second jobs that you do on your phone while you are supposed to be sleeping. If you stop working, the money stops coming in.
That is the definition of a job, not an asset.
Today, we are fixing the definitions.
We are ranking every major income stream, from real estate and dividends to YouTube and crypto, on a ruthless tier list. Based on two things: how hard it is to start, and whether it actually pays you while you sleep, or just pays you while you stress. Before we throw the first asset on the board, you need to understand the scoring system.
This matters because most people pick the wrong strategy for their personality type and burn out in 3 months. We are judging on 2 axes. First is the passivity score. This is the Coma Test. If I fell into a coma for 6 months, would this asset keep depositing money into my bank account, or would the business collapse? S tier passes the Coma Test. F tier fails it immediately.
The second axis is the barrier to entry. This is the combination of capital, skill, and pain required to get the first dollar.
Usually, there is a trade-off. Easy to start often means hard to maintain.
Hard to buy often means easy to hold. The goal of this video is not just to rank them, but to show you this.
I'm going to save you about 5 years of trial and error in the next 30 minutes, which is a pretty good return on investment for your time. If that sounds like a fair trade, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I break down the math of wealth without the hype every single week. Now, let's start at the bottom of the barrel, because we need to clear out the garbage before we can get to the gold. Let's start with the F tier, the category I call fake passive.
The king of this category is dropshipping.
You know the pitch. Set up a Shopify store, find a cheap supplier in China, run some ads, and act as the middleman. You never touch the product, you never hold inventory, and you just collect the spread between the wholesale price and your retail price. It sounds like the perfect digital asset. On paper, it looks like a money printing machine that requires zero capital. But the reality is that dropshipping is not investing. It is high-stress retail arbitrage in an incredibly crowded market. You are competing against thousands of other people, selling the exact same vegetable chopper or Galaxy projector, often using the exact same video ads.
Here is the math that the gurus rarely show you on their dashboards. They show you revenue, not profit.
Let's say you sell a product for $50 that costs you $20. That looks like a $30 profit. Amazing! But acquiring a customer on Meta or TikTok in 2025 is expensive. Your cost per acquisition might be $25. Now your profit is $5. Then you have payment processing fees, Shopify monthly fees, and the cost of returns. If one customer returns that item, you wipe out the profit of your last 5 sales.
Great! Stuck in here with all the same guys. No wonder I feel trapped.
And that is only if you are managing the ads daily. If you stop tweaking your ad creative, your acquisition cost spikes and you are losing money instantly.
The psychological trap here
is the low barrier to entry fallacy. Because it is easy to start, everyone starts it. That means the competition is brutal. You aren't building an asset, you are fighting a war. Every morning you wake up to check if your ad account got banned, if your supplier raised prices, or if a competitor stole your video. That is not passive income. That is a high-anxiety, low-margin job where you are glued to your phone. It fails the Coma test within 48 hours. If you want to run an e-commerce business, go for it, but do not call it passive. Now, you might think dropshipping is the worst offender because of the workload, but there is another contender that demands zero work, but it's the set and forget crypto yield farming schemes. If you think the risk in retail is high, wait until you see the math on 40,000% APY. To be clear, I am not talking about Bitcoin or Ethereum held in cold storage. I am talking about passive income protocols that promise you daily returns of 1% or massive annual yields for staking a token.
I don't see how we can possibly make this deadline. Look, it's right here. This is a disaster.
If a protocol pays you in a token that is inflating by 100% a year to pay those rewards, the value of the token drops by 50%.
You are getting more coins that are worth less money. It is a dilution machine.
This is F tier, not because it requires work, but because it is gambling, masquerading as income. Real passive income comes from profit generation, selling goods, renting land, lending capital. These schemes come from Ponzonomics. Stay away unless you treat it strictly as a casino trip.
And moving up to C tier, these are ideas that are genuinely passive, so they pass the Coma test, but they are either too risky or too low return to be your main engine. First up, peer-to-peer lending. The idea is simple. You play the bank. You lend $500 to a guy named Steve so he can consolidate his credit card debt, and he pays you 10% interest. Platforms automate this, splitting your money across hundreds of Steves to lower the risk. It sounds great. Who doesn't want to earn double what the bank pays? The problem is the risk-adjusted return. In a good economy, you might make 7 or 8% after fees, but unlike a bank, your capital is not insured. If a recession hits and job losses spike, defaults rise. If your default rate hits 5 or 6%, your real return drops to 1 or 2%. You are taking on equity-like risk for bond-like returns. Plus, your money is illiquid. You can't just pull it out instantly if you need it. It's C tier because while it is passive, it's not an efficient place for serious capital. Also in C tier is the high-yield savings account and cashback stacking. This is the definition of passive. You put money in, you get 4 or 5% out. This isn't income. It's a shield against inflation. If inflation is 3% and you earn 5%, your real return is 2%. On $10,000, that is $200 of real purchasing power a year. It's fantastic for your emergency fund, but you will never retire on a savings account. It's infrastructure, not an engine. Now we cross the line into the assets that can actually make you rich.
But there is a massive catch. The B tier contains the most powerful wealth creators on this list, but they are also the most misunderstood.
People think they are buying an asset, but they are actually signing up for a career change. If you treat this next tier like a passive investment, it will fail.
Now,
If you treat it like a startup, it can fund your entire life. B tier is the active business category. This includes YouTube channels, niche SEO blogs, and print-on-demand stores. Let's look at YouTube. I love YouTube. It pays for my groceries. But calling it passive is a joke, especially in the beginning. To get a channel off the ground, you need to learn scripting, lighting, audio, editing, thumbnail psychology, and analytics. It is a high-skill profession. You might work for a year and make $0. That is a barrier to entry that filters out 99% of people. However, unlike dropshipping, you are building a library. If you build a library of 100 evergreen videos, you can stop uploading for a month and the check will still clear. That is semi-passive. But, and this is a big but, if you stop for 6 months, the algorithm forgets you. Your views degrade. You have to keep feeding the beast to maintain the momentum. It is a high-leverage business, but it requires your face, your voice, or your brain constantly.
The same logic as websites and print-on-demand.
You write the articles or design the t-shirts once, and they sell forever. Sounds S tier, right? The catch is rank 2K. Google updates its search algorithm, and your traffic vanishes overnight. A copycat steals your t-shirt design and undercuts you by $2. To keep the income stable, you have to constantly defend your territory. You are the CEO of a media company. It's a great way to make high income, but don't fool yourself into thinking you can walk away forever. So, B tier is great for generating cash, but it requires your time. Now we move to the A tier. These are the heavy hitters. These are assets you can buy that have immense power, but they come with what I call the friction tax. If you ignore this tax, a single bad month can wipe out 3 years of profit. Let's talk about the holy grail of the middle class, rental real estate. Direct real estate. Buying a house and renting it out. This is A tier because it offers 4 wealth generators in one: cash flow, appreciation, loan paydown, and tax benefits. It is a powerful wealth multiplier. But is it passive? Absolutely not. Real estate is a hospitality business. You are providing a service, housing, to a customer, the tenant. Even with a property manager, you are the asset manager. You have to approve the new roof. You have to decide whether to evict the single mom who lost her job. You have to refinance the debt. No. Let's run the numbers that Zillow doesn't show you. You buy a place and the mortgage is $1,500. You rent it for $2,000. You think you are making $500 a month. That is phantom cash flow. You haven't accounted for vacancy.
If the property sits empty for 1 month a year, that costs you $2,000. Divided by 12, that's $166 a month gone.
Repairs and maintenance average another 10%. Property management is 10%. Suddenly, your $500 profit is actually $50. One busted water heater puts you in the red for the year. It's A tier because over 20 years, the appreciation and loan paydown make you rich. But day to day, it is lumpy, stressful, and requires significant capital reserves. It passes the Coma Test only if you have a great team in place. But even then, it's semi-passive at best. The other A-tier contender is high-quality digital products, courses, apps, templates. This is different from the B-tier content grind because a product is a finished asset. If I write a comprehensive ebook on gardening or build a Notion template for project management, that asset is done. I can sell 10 copies or 10,000 copies, and my effort is the same. The marginal cost of replication is zero. This is the most scalable income on the list. If you have an automated funnel, ads driving traffic to a landing page, you can literally wake up to money. The barrier to entry is high skill. You have to make something actually good. But once it's built, it sits very close to S-tier passivity. We have covered the grinders, the businesses, and the friction-heavy assets. Now, we arrive at the S-tier, the God tier. These are the only assets where laziness is actually a competitive advantage. The less you touch them, the better they perform. This is where you want to end up. And the first one is the most boring, unsexy strategy in the world, which is exactly why it works. S-tier asset number 1. Broad market and dividend ETFs. This is the cleanest form of passive income in existence. You buy a fund like VTI, Total Market, or SCH Dividend Focus. You don't manage the employees. You don't create the products. You don't deal with the customers. You just provide the capital, and the CEOs of Apple, Microsoft, and Home Depot go to work for you. They generate profits, and they send you a check every quarter. It passes the Coma Test with flying colors. In fact, if you went into a coma for 10 years, you'd probably wake up richer than if you had been trading actively. So what's the catch? Why isn't everyone doing this? It's the barrier to entry. Not skill, it takes 5 minutes to set up. The barrier is capital. To make meaningful income, you need a lot of money. If a dividend fund yields 3%, you need $1 million invested to generate $30,000 a year.
True freedom isn't about finding a passive side hustle that pays you $50 a month. It's about building an active engine that generates enough surplus cash to